This is the Enjoy Life podcast, here to help you choose your mindset, goals, and actions so that you can guide your life in the direction that you want it to go and enjoy it. It does take a little bit of work, some effort on your part, but that effort is worth it because this is your life and you can experience the benefits of the work that you do. And this podcast is here to help. Life doesn't magically turn out exactly how you want. It's up to you to make it happen. Now, you may not have chosen to be exactly where you're at right now in your current situation, but you will choose what you do about it. If you're ready to put forth a little bit of effort, take some small steps toward living the life that you want, then you're in the right place. Let's get started. Hello there. I'm your host, Nick Mazie. I am glad that you are here today. Welcome to 2020. Happy New Year. This is just it's an awesome time. We always step into a new year. A lot of times there's, just the thought of the possibilities of what can happen. It's a great time to just open up our mindset, saying, this is a new beginning. This is a new year. It's a new decade, and that's great. Take full advantage of just that thought of a new beginning, a new thing to start. That it's unwritten. You can make this whatever you want it to be. That's just Happy New Year. I'm just really excited about it. And I feel like I've been away from the podcast. I know the podcast has been coming out, but I've just had my head down, really working on creating something new for you, all in line with enjoying life, having the life that you want, and taking the steps to guide your life to go in the direction that you want it to go. That is it's a really exciting thing that I've been working on. It's been taking a lot of effort. And so honestly, just getting back behind the microphone and talking in the Enjoy Life podcast is something that I'm just really enjoying doing right now, and I had to share that with you. I'll talk a little bit more about the project that I've been working on, but really it's just all about creating life targets. When you set that target that's really powerful to you, that's relevant to where you're at, and you really spend some time developing it so that it just resonates with you, and then you really pursue that. I think that's what leads to enjoying life a lot more, because it has a purpose and a direction and meaning. And I created a free video training that kind of explains a little bit about it, the framework, and it has some worksheets to get you going in that direction. You can go to nickmazie.com/CLT for creating life targets. That's nickmazie.com/CLT to learn more and get access to that free video training. All right. Well, so on to today's episode. It's all about 2020. We're here in the new year. So what can you do to start to set yourself up for 2020? And I know there's a million people that are making resolutions, and I don't know, they get kind of a bad rap. I think there's some better ways to go about improving our lives, and some not so effective ways of doing that. But really today, I just want to hit on a few things. It's not going to be a comprehensive training on setting goals or creating resolutions or making targets for your life. But it's just going to be some simple tips that you can do to get yourself going in the right direction for 2020. If you want more more in depth, like I said, go to nickmazie.com/CLT for that free video training. It is more on the creating the targets that you can do. But as far as this episode, let's start off with what you can do to set yourself up for 2020, and that is to review the last year, review what's gone on, and think back and reflect for a minute. And what life can just get really, really busy, and so many things going on, and sometimes it's difficult to actually think back on what has happened, because we're always going forward and what's coming next. In a healthy way, look back on what has happened over this last year. And I do say in a healthy way because sometimes we need to detach just a little bit from everything that's gone on so that we can think about, hey, what was good, what happened, without getting all wrapped up in some of the things that we prefer didn't happen. But just review what's going on. And what I believe is most important is to celebrate the good things. Honestly, I was talking with my wife last night, and we were just having this conversation about how there are many things that we would like to be better, or to have more of, or anything that we wish would just be better and improve. And at the same time, there is so much to celebrate. If we pay attention to the things that are good, we can enjoy them more. So when you're looking back, especially when you're looking back with the purpose of starting to set goals for this next year, when you look back, make sure that you remember and celebrate the things that are good. It's not just ignoring everything that you want to improve or change, but by celebrating the things that are good that have happened, it can help energize you to go forward. And it can really end up helping you with my next suggestion, when you celebrate the things that are good. Because what it does is it changes that mindset to be able to see the possibilities. If you only think about the things that you want to change, if you only think about the things that you wish were different or something negative, then you're setting your mindset to focus on those things. Well, how can you set a really good, positive goal that's going to stretch you if the only things you're focusing on are things that are negative? It doesn't work like that. So when you review, think about, hey, this is what's happened. These might be some things that I want to change. And think about all the positive, good things that you can celebrate. Celebrate them. Live in those moments just for another split second in time to really get energized about the possibilities of the future. Then go on to imagining more possibilities of the future. This is what can help you to set those targets that are going to stretch you toward the life that you want, that are going to help you to enjoy your life more, is when you just imagine what the future could be like. Imagine the success that you would like to have, in whatever life areas you want that success in. When you imagine those possibilities and you can start to see them, then you can start to set those targets that will pull you toward them. Those powerful targets that speak to where you're at right now, to what you want to go toward. You can set those targets. So they got to be relevant to where you're at while pulling you toward the life that you want. I say relevant to where you're at. If you set a target that's way too far away, one that you're going to have to do a lot of work and improvement and a whole bunch of steps just to even be getting close to being able to start working on it, it's just too far away from you. That's why, as you've heard me say in this podcast, taking small steps toward the life that you want, taking small steps to improve. It's not that you're only going to set these tiny little goals that are going to be so simple to achieve. But when you set that target that's relevant to where you're at, you can see how you're making progress toward it. And that is motivating. It's energizing. It helps you to stay on track and going forward because it's relevant to where you're at right now. And then once you achieve it or get really, really close to it, then you can end up setting a new one that for relevant to where you're at then. As you continue to develop and improve and grow, that way you're always moving forward while you're always within reach of what you've set next. So we got the reviewing of the last year and the progress that you've made and celebrating what's good, imagining the possibilities, setting those targets that speak to you, that resonate with you. And then the next thing to set up 2020 is make a plan. It's about developing an idea of how to achieve. Sometimes I really don't like a plan. It sounds like this concrete document that is very rigid on what we have to do and the kind of restraints that we have to stay within in order to achieve what we want to achieve. That doesn't work. There is no perfect plan. There's not. Life happens. It does. Things don't go exactly according to plan. It's I'm not perfect. I definitely cannot make a perfect plan. That's why when you develop an idea of how to achieve something, and when you think of it as an idea, see, ideas can adjust and they can change when things come up. Then you can make the necessary like course corrections that you need so that you can keep going towards your final destination. I really like the example of the GPS. A GPS is an amazing thing, and it's not that it just when you first start, it can tell you a route to get to where you want to go. That's not actually, in my opinion, what is the most amazing thing about a GPS. The most amazing thing is that when you're going in that direction and you miss a turn, or there's a detour, or something happens and you get off track, or you have to make a stop on the way, when that happens, the GPS updates and it tells you the new route, the new next step that you have to take in order to get where you want to go. It doesn't change the goal or the destination that you're going toward. It doesn't do that. All it does is adjust the plan, the path to get there just a little bit so that you can get back on track, or it makes a whole new track so that you can end up where you want to be. That's where seeing the plan as an idea can really have a huge benefit, because then you're willing to adapt. You're willing to check in to see if you need to adapt. And that way you can keep going in the direction you want to go and making progress. Yeah, and that's when you feel like you're making progress, like you're going in the direction that you want, and your actions have meaning and power, and you're just being effective. That is what, that's what helps me enjoy my life. And I think that there's a lot about enjoying life is having a purpose and pursuing that purpose and feeling as though you're making progress toward that purpose. Now, the next step to set up 2020 is taking action. You got to have a plan or an idea how to achieve, but if you don't take any action toward it, you're not going to do jack. So take action. Now, your action doesn't have to be some huge, massive thing that you take out, you set out to do. Large leaps, they can get you going forward, but they're really difficult. They're difficult to maintain. They're difficult to start. And when you set out with taking too big of leaps all at once, then you might be off a little bit because you need to make that correction that we just talked about, that adjustment. And we take a large leap going forward, it might not end up exactly how you'd like for it to end up. So sometimes just taking small steps. See, small steps, you can develop a little bit of momentum. You learn along the way when you're taking action, you're taking small steps. It gives you time to see if you need to make some adjustments. And really, it just gets you going forward. I use the example sometimes about when my wife and I started training for a half marathon a year ago. I guess we started training about 2 years ago. And I didn't start off by running 5 miles when I started training for it. No, I started off by going for a very, very short jog. That's all it was. It was a small step. And by taking that small step, I felt good about that small step. And you know what I could do with that small step? I could make that small step a habit, and I could keep doing it, and I could add a little bit more intensity, a little bit more distance. I could, do it more often. And what I did is I started stacking those small steps on top of each other, and then it grew into me being able to achieve that goal that I had of, well, my goal was to jog. I like that a little bit better. I jogged the half marathon, and I felt good afterwards. And so that was a huge thing for me. But it was starting by taking action in those small steps that allowed me to do it. And then the last little tip or suggestion I have for setting 2020 up is be willing to improve. And this means checking in on your actions that you're doing. It means checking in on your plan and make sure you don't need to make any adjustments to it. It means just committing yourself to being open to making improvements in your life, in what you do. It's not that you have to become somebody else. All I'm saying is become more of who and how you want to be. And if you're anything like me, then there might be some not so good habits. Fortunately, some of my really terrible habits, I've gotten rid of. And that's because I've had my mindset, and my efforts on improving. But I'm by far not even close to being perfect in any area. And having the acceptance and the commitment to improve allows for that small little refinement, that small little adjustment, that thought and that mindset about how can I become better. It's not that I want you to say there's anything wrong with you. No, it's that you commit to improving yourself, to becoming more who and how you want to be. That way you get to experience the benefits. You get to, just reap the benefits of that effort that you're putting into your life so that you can enjoy your life more, so that it can be more how you want it to be, and just enjoy it. You can feel proud about that. You can feel like you're going and taking steps for what you want in your life. And that's what I want for you. And that takes an improvement, and just accepting that and focusing on that. So what do we have for the suggestions on how to set 2020 up? Well, review the past, past year, where you've come from, where you've been. Celebrate those good things. Definitely celebrate the good things. Imagine the possibilities and kind of see what success in certain life areas for you, what it means to you, what it would be like for you, what's important to you. Set those targets to be able to pursue and to achieve that success that you want. Make a plan, develop that idea of how to achieve, take action, and, determine to keep improving. Well, that's what I have for this podcast episode on setting 2020 up. Once again, you can go to nickmazey.com/CLT for the free video training on the framework for creating life targets. Make sure you get that. Take steps to create the targets that resonate with you for you and your life, so that you can guide your life to go in the direction that you want it to go. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Happy New Year once again. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any podcast episodes. And if you enjoy this podcast at all, I really appreciate it if you would rate and review it, or share it with somebody, whichever is easiest or you prefer. That way more people can find it. Thanks again for listening. Take care, and I'll talk to you again in the next episode.